Hello and welcome to all. The job of a television presenter is not always easy, and if the shows are carefully prepared, they can nevertheless offer us new videos. Imagine a Ukrainian journalist losing a tooth in the middle of live broadcast, a weatherman forgetting a coat hanger inside her costume, or a monkey slapping the famous host Deborah Duncan live. Sure, no one would like to be in their shoes. So, would you like to discover these embarrassing moments and many more? Here they are. During containment, many people were forced to switch to telework. To say the least, this has sometimes resulted in some unexpected disruptions. The proof with this journalist from SSN, by the name of Jessica Lang. While she was recording a duplex from her kitchen with the help of her mother, this journalist was confronted with a very delicate situation. Indeed, everything was going very well until her father burst in right behind her, busy adjusting her shirt and revealing a rather pot-bellied belly. Shocked and visibly angry, Jessica couldn't help but react by shouting, "Dad, holy crap." After all, it was a very embarrassing moment for the journalist. Despite this, the young woman decided to post the video on her Twitter account. Unsurprisingly, this funny video was so successful that it went all over the web. Sommelier Emily Walker was, just before New Year's Eve, a guest on the set of Global BC's Steve Darling's morning show in Canada. The purpose of this invitation was to show viewers how to properly break open the champagne and impress the guests. Unfortunately for her, everything did not go as planned. And for a good reason. Once she did the demonstration, the bottle literally burst in her hands, and as a result, Emily found herself completely soaked. But she still kept a smile on her face, and no doubt it was very embarrassing. After his unsuccessful attempt, host Steve Darling tried Emily's maneuver and, once again, the result was disastrous. The sommelier's tactics were not very effective, so, she assured that this had never happened to her before. So, there's a first time for everything. This Irish presenter, named Derek O'Hartigan, probably had the most embarrassing moment of his career. The reason? Well, when he appeared to live on Ireland AM to report on the weather, he was simply blown away by the wind, so much so that he went totally out of frame. A few seconds later, Derek came back into the camera's field after having managed to control his umbrella broken by the gust of wind. But the situation was so unprecedented that he couldn't help but laugh. As for his colleagues, sitting on a television set, they couldn't believe what happened. They were so amazed that they also preferred to laugh at this quite unusual situation. Moreover, following this incident, the correspondent, a good-looking player, posted this hilarious video himself on his YouTube channel. It is well known that the presence of animals on TV sets can sometimes create certain risks. And it is not Deborah Duncan who will say otherwise. This presenter of the show Great Day Houston, broadcast on the Co-TV channel, invited a little primate to the American show. But not just any. The Wilson monkey is a real movie star with an appearance notably in Dr. Dolittle. Nevertheless, Deborah had all the difficulty of the world to control this small beast. At first, the TV host wanted to play with the animal by teasing it with grapes, but the monkey, annoyed to see her messing around, lost patience and ripped the food out of its hand before slapping her live. A moment that made the host and viewers laugh, as well as a good number of internet users. And we understand why. Steve Frazier, the weatherman on Fox 9, experienced a great moment of solitude life. While standing in a TV set presenting his weather report, Steve suddenly seemed very uncomfortable. Visibly embarrassed, the presenter put his hand behind his back and pulled a hanger out of his jacket. It was undoubtedly a truly unusual moment. Steve Frazier was so confused that he immediately apologized, but the two other journalists who were also present were already laughing their heads off. Of course, the American viewers were also very amused by this video. Now here's a weather presenter who had a moment of intense embarrassment, and not without reason. Indeed, the young woman, named Liberté Chan, was presenting the weather report when she was strangely interrupted by a person off camera who was handing her a gray vest. The confused presenter then naively asked if it was because it was cold. But the reality is quite different since she was told, "We receive a lot of emails." This would mean that some viewers found it inappropriate. Forced to put on the vest, the young woman relaxes the atmosphere by admitting that she looks like a librarian, before continuing with the weather as if nothing had happened. Liberté Chan was actually very embarrassed by this situation, and she soon made it known on her Facebook page, where she asked if they really thought the dress was too sexy. In the end, she received many messages of support. Nevertheless, she probably won't forget this embarrassing moment any soon. Before continuing this video, here is the question of the day. What is the first name of Bewitch, played by Elizabeth Montgomery? Is it Option A, Samantha, Option B, Charlotte, Option C, Endora? Write the right answer in the comments and we'll see at the end of the video if you were right. David Cuellar Montero, a Mexican journalist, will remember his report on the bad weather for a long time to come. While he was out in the field in the evening to answer the reporters' questions on set, David simply slipped on a pool of mud in front of the TV cameras. In his misfortune, he had tried to save his microphone but without success. In the end, he had bathed entirely in the mud. Fortunately, he was able to get out of it thanks to his staff members who soon came to his aid. However, the images in this sequence have obviously not gone unnoticed. Very quickly, they made the rounds of the social networks. Journalist Courtney Friel, from the KTLA channel, made a terrible mistake. On the first day of school, she interviewed a 4-year-old boy named Andrew Macias to ask him if he was ready for school. And little Andrew, impeccable for the occasion, cheerfully answered yes, so far so good. But after that, the journalist decided to ask her the ultimate question, "Are you going to miss your mommy?" He answered without batting an eyelid, "No." Intrigued, the reporter laughed and the young boy laughed in turn for a while before starting to break down. Realizing that he wouldn't be able to see his mommy as often, the little guy started to cry out loud. The child was obviously having a hard time hiding his misfortune. However, after the publication of this video in August 2015, Andrew became a web star. So much so that on Twitter, his GIF has been looped for a long time. After all, the young boy is, to say the least, very cute. As for the journalist who interviewed him, she has reason to feel very embarrassed. Being a journalist is not always easy. The proof with this Dutch journalist who lived a moment of incomparable embarrassment. Indeed, in Kampen, in the Dutch province of Overijssel, the journalist was on board a boat when she was about to interview the mayor of the city, Bart Koolewijn. Unfortunately for her, things did not go as planned. Arriving in high heels, the journalist leaned casually against the wall and then put her hand on a rope. At that very moment, she lost her balance and fell heavily into the water. In the end, she was able to get back to the boat with the help of the mayor and the cameraman. But the journalist was undeniably scared to death, and above all, very ashamed. Of course, this fall made the internet users happy since the video was viewed nearly 5 million times. On July 14th, English MP John Nicholson gave us a really hilarious video clip. While he was on a video conference to participate in a parliamentary committee meeting, the MP had to face a totally unexpected situation. John Nicholson was speaking from home with ministers at a virtual hearing of the Committee on Digital, Culture, Media, and Sport as MP for Ochil and South Perthshire. But the video conference, which had been very serious until then, took a completely different turn when Rocco, the MP's cat, decided to intervene in his own way during this meeting, causing bursts of laughter. In the video, we can clearly see the tail of a cat suddenly appearing and hiding the face of the MP. Faced with this situation, John asked Rocco to come down, but the cat did not want to hear. He was therefore forced to move it himself and apologize to the ministers. On July 15, 2020, Marichka Padalko, a journalist from Ukrainian television, did a tour on the web. Why? Well, when the journalist was presenting the live news to the viewers, she briefly put her hand to her mouth after losing a tooth. Yet, imperturbable, Marichka concealed her tooth and continued her diary quite naturally, hiding the incident that had just occurred as best she could. However, a large number of viewers noticed that Marichka had lost her tooth, which, by the way, was only a prosthesis. Many people follow closely Nadine Alfad, an Iraqi weather host, but not necessarily to know the weather of the week. In fact, if Nadine attracts so many people, it is rather for her very advantageous physique. Thanks to this asset, the least we can say are that she makes people want to watch the weather. Today, this hostess is so successful that her videos are downloaded massively by internet users. It must be said that Nadine Alfad knows how to raise the temperature. Now it's your turn to tell us which of these moments is, in your opinion, the most embarrassing of all. If not, the first name of Bewitch, embodied by Elizabeth Montgomery, is Samantha. I hope many of you found the right answer.